Hello, Honeybunches. Here we are. I feel a bit like first day back at school because I haven't made a video in a while, and as we can all garner, I am sort of branching out, doing a different video, embracing my love of reading and transforming it into some content. So I've never really owned, do we really want to go into the history of your reading journey to reading, Phoebe? Maybe that's a story for another day. Let's just keep it recent. In raising Merlin, I have been doing a lot more reading. Heck, what am I saying? Because of a number of factors, 2020 being a big reading year, raising a dog, and also navigating some digestion thingies, I've read a lot more for comfort, for pleasure in the last year, and I might even call myself a reader now, even though there's a funky relationship beginning story to tell one time about, well, I'll probably never feel like I'm a reader and have much to offer in this space. But I do read like a broad selection as a white privileged person, thin able-bodied, etc. But if we're talking genres, you know, I shake it up all the time and really like learning about others' lived experiences from books, both fiction and non-fiction, graphic novels, nature writing, all that stuff. So my favourite books of 2020 and TBRs have been quite enjoyed recently. They're so fun to watch, and it's just so exciting, it's so cathartic, gleaning what you want from those videos and adding to your list of to-reads. So here I am going to do a TBR because I actually read a lot last year, just a bit of a precursor to this selection. My to-read list is a lot longer, but the books on this list are guided by books that I have on my list and really want to read, books that are coming out this year, really want to read them, books that I've had on my shelf that people have given me or I've bought from an op shop or bookshop and still haven't got around to reading, but I do want to do that. But also it's informed by like 2020 was really tough, and I did read some more challenging reads within the context of Stress Head 2020. You know, learnt some stuff, thankful for that, but also last year and the times we're still in remind us that life's short, and if you want to read something because it's pleasurable, just do that. So the sort of image I project when I'm reading and what I look like when I'm reading a certain book, I've thrown out the window a bit more, and I'm less concerned in this list of what I look like when I'm reading said book. We'll get into it. But the theme of what I like to read is generally trying to broaden my empathy circle in various ways. So, in my fiction list, I have 8 books. I want to read The Queen's Gambit. I got that for my birthday. Love the TV show. I know that'll be really juicy, so I can't wait for that. I want to read Convenient Store Woman. I've heard so many good things about it, and any book where it's about someone who doesn't really fit in, a bit of an oddball, and perhaps doing things at a certain age where society is going past your prime, dearie, draws me in. Conversation with Friends. I read Normal People. I think it's time to read Conversation with Friends, so we've heard a mixed bag. Shall we diving in? Midnight Sun. Look, when it came out last year, I was probably in the same boat of Twilight fandom. Oh my gosh, like, you're a sorry sod if you're diving into a book that's really long about Edward's perspective of a book and a story we already know. But look, Phoebe, the Twilight series, Hunger Games, and Harry Potter were the reason you, like, got into reading. So to to knock it is really just not being truthful and very kind to your reading habit beginnings. As someone who grew up for a large portion of their childhood teen years as not a reader, frankly I'm still surprised when I finish a book, and I've finished plenty since then, but I know I will enjoy it because I'm vaguely interested in hearing his side of the story, so I'm gonna read it. Am I gonna feel guilty about it? No. Will my brother tease me about it? Probably, but just whatever. I want to read Night Circus because I was given this for my birthday, like, I don't know, middle school time, and I know it's meant to be like a great book. Like, well, I heard Ariel Bissett liken it to Stardust in like the fantasy, magical, extravagant world that you're sort of introduced to. So it's time to finally read that because it's been sitting on my bookshelf close to 10 years. I heard a booktuber recommend Writers and Lovers, which is pretty much a novel about those two things. Sounds great. Such a fun age. Found it at an op shop. Sounds like a page turner. Got that nannying mother of kids, you nanny relationship dynamic, as well as race issues in there, all of which juicy. Gimme. Jessie K's first novel is coming out called Sunset. Can't wait to read that. And on my non-fiction list I have 8 books. First one is Me and White Supremacy. I had a flick through that at a bookstore when I popped to one on my birthday last November and read a few pages while you're standing there. That's always a good sign. I want to read 2 books by Stan Grant, who is an Australian Aboriginal journalist, presenter, media person, commentator, writer, author. I want to read Australia Day and Talking to My Country. I want to read Hood Feminism by Mikki Kendall. I want to read All of Mabel and Me by Andrew Cotter. Again, it perhaps falls into a camp of books that people dismiss, like celebrity memoirs. Again, if it gets you reading, just do it. And if you enjoy it, don't apologise. Personally, I love the genre of, like, I guess they're more famous, kind of British people talking about their relationships with dogs. I love Miranda Hart's Peggy and Me, loved Monty Don's Nigel, and so I shall be devouring Andrew Cotter's All of Mabel and Me, especially because they're Labradors. Very applicable. I'm gonna chew that up. I want to read The Space Between by Zara McDonald and Michelle Andrews, which is a book about your 20s written by 2 women who are 26, so very much in their 20s. That'll be interesting to read about something that they haven't yet fully experienced. Will they have wisdom to impart when they're only 3 years older? Will I feel triggered when they're writing about something that inevitably I'm doing in a different way? Because we're all going about our 20s in a different way. Point being, they're really local and they have a podcast. It's apparently a big hit in Melbourne, but Australia. I don't know much about them, but I've seen the book everywhere and I'm in my 20s, so I'm interested. I don't know where I saw this book. I think it's a library, but it piqued my interest. It's called Ace, What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society and the Meaning of Sex by Angela Chen. Just something I really don't know a lot about. And then another book on dogs that my brother got me before we got Merlin is In Defense of Dogs by John Bradshaw, which is meant to make you understand and view dogs in a completely different way. All positive, but broaden your understanding of how they see the world. There's 2 books in nature writing I want to read. If Women Rose Rooted by Sharon Blackie and The Way Through the Woods of Mushrooms and Morning by Long Lit Wound, both of which I saw Athena Mello reading, who has a YouTube channel, does lots of hiking, hill walking in the Peak District and surround in the UK, so I kind of trust her reads. They interest me. There's one thriller. I don't really do a lot of thrillers, so this might be my way in. I heard Gemma Walsh talking about it. It's called The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. There's one poetry book, Homebody, and then 3 graphic novels. I loved them in high school. They're very immersive. So part of me might have been like, a bit old for them, baby. But like, no, just not. Such a stupid ingrained thing that we're taught. And Ariel Bissett and her podcast books Unbound has been piquing my interest, so I want to read Anne of Green Gables, Unicorn Cove and To Kill a Mockingbird. Are 3 on my list, but I'm sure I'll probably read a lot more graphic novels this year because I'm giving myself permission to, as I am with a splattering of other books in that list. I think it's a good to be read list in that there's light and educational and challenging potentially, but yes, I hope to read many more books than that. And I also hope to do like monthly what I read. Again, trying to like find the confidence within to feel like will have anything interesting to say. But why I've been really appreciating Ariel Bissett's channel is that she doesn't hold back in like saying her reading word like hesitancies or vulnerabilities. Like honestly, when she said that she finds really thick books a challenge, I was like, oh, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Because if you're gonna make reading more accessible, you need to be honest that it's not always easy with increasingly dwindling attention spans, both brought on by time in general for just 2020, news cycles, Netflix, social media. It's hard to like keep exercising the muscle which is reading. And something that I might be doing a bit differently to other booktubers that I see is I will not be buying every book, but I think it could be fun to do a segment at the end of every month of which books that I read this month that if I had unlimited dosh I would buy. I just find it slightly amusing and like, is no one seeing this when people talk about their favorite books of the month or what they read or whatever, and they're like doing so I read this one, like, and they have it in physical form right there. It's like, all right, you've got a copy, well done you. The books are expensive, so I'm using my library membership all the time, keeping that reservation list of 15 allowed reservations, always full, and semi-embarrassingly like going to the library kind of like 3 times a week, which is a bit more awkward these days because you have to sort of sign in and give your deets. so they know who's been there for COVID purposes. But just do what you gotta do, and let's read things that we want to read and enjoy, and occasionally challenge ourselves. But I think the most important thing is to enjoy it. So yeah, it's a judge-free reading space. I'll be crafting, carving occasionally on here, still doing foodie content, but this is a part of myself that I want to talk about. I feel like I have a sort of reading angle that you might find approachable and appealing. So yes, hopefully that all sounds good and you'll stick around. Thanks for watching, Honeybunches. See you soon, and not too far away for that January What I Read.